In extended survival situations, mental breakdown kills more people than dehydration, exposure, or starvation combined. Most people focus on physical survival skills, but they completely ignore the psychological skills that determine whether you'll maintain the will to live or give up and die. There's a specific psychological technique that can prevent mental breakdown and maintain morale even in the most hopeless situations. I'm talking about milestone thinking, a method that breaks down overwhelming survival challenges into manageable mental chunks. Instead of thinking, I need to survive for weeks or months, you think, I need to survive until tomorrow morning. Instead of thinking, I'll never be rescued, you think, I need to focus on today's tasks. Let me explain how this works psychologically. When you're facing a survival situation that could last weeks or months, your mind naturally focuses on the enormity of the challenge. This creates feelings of hopelessness, despair, and eventually mental breakdown. But when you break that challenge down into smaller, achievable goals, you create a series of psychological victories that maintain morale and motivation. Here's what most people don't understand about long-term survival. The biggest enemy isn't hunger, cold, or thirst. It's despair. When people give up mentally, they stop taking care of themselves physically. They stop looking for resources, they stop maintaining their shelter, and they stop doing the things that keep them alive. This is exactly what I teach in When All Hell Breaks Loose, stuff you need to survive when disaster strikes. You'll learn not just physical survival skills, but also the psychological techniques that maintain mental health and morale during extended survival situations. You'll learn how to set achievable goals, how to celebrate small victories, and how to maintain hope even when the situation seems hopeless. But here's where it gets really interesting. Milestone thinking isn't just about preventing despair. It's about maintaining peak performance over time. When you're focused on achievable short-term goals, you maintain your energy and motivation. When you're overwhelmed by long-term challenges, you waste mental energy on worry and fear. Think about it this way. Survival is a marathon, not a sprint. You need to pace yourself mentally just like you would pace yourself physically. The people who try to solve everything at once burn out quickly. The people who focus on one challenge at a time maintain their energy and effectiveness over time. The truth is, most people have never practiced maintaining morale under extreme stress. They've never learned how to set realistic goals, how to measure progress, or how to maintain hope when things look hopeless. When faced with a real survival situation, they're psychologically unprepared for the mental challenges. Here's what you need to understand about survival psychology. Your mental state affects everything else. When you're maintaining good morale, you think more clearly, you work more efficiently, and you make better decisions. When you're depressed or hopeless, even simple tasks become overwhelming. Most survival guides focus on physical skills and completely ignore the psychological aspects of survival. They teach you how to find food, but they don't teach you how to maintain the motivation to look for food when you're hungry and tired. They teach you how to build shelter, but they don't teach you how to maintain the energy to maintain your shelter over time. The key is understanding that psychological survival is just as important as physical survival. You need to maintain your mental health, your motivation, and your will to live. You need to create psychological systems that keep you focused on solutions rather than problems, on progress rather than setbacks. Milestone thinking works because it aligns with how our brains naturally process challenges. We're wired to respond to immediate, achievable goals rather than distant, overwhelming objectives. When you work with your psychology rather than against it, you maintain better mental health and better performance over time. Don't underestimate the psychological challenges of survival situations. Get When All Hell Breaks Loose and learn the psychological techniques that could maintain your sanity and your will to live when everything else fails. Because the truth is, survival is as much about mental strength as it is about physical strength.